Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Peroline, and if it's the first time stopping by, you are definitely welcome to my channel. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to leave some comments below. Be sure to turn on a notification so that you don't miss out on my next video. In today's video, I am going to talk about the things that makes you feel old. So many people have their own belief on what old is. As you know, we all have got our beliefs on what makes us feel old. Some people think when you are old, it means when you are like over 70 or 80 years, whereas others get worried at the age when they turn like 30 years. Most people get worried, most especially as female. I should just say that normally when we reach like 27, 29, we are always like getting worried that no, now I'm old, I don't have a child, all those things. It worries us. And then majority, they get worried when they're like in their 30s, that now they're old. No matter what your age, it might seem, there's an egging that there are certain things that makes us feel old. Sometimes there's some certain thing that makes us feel old, as I've already said. We have got that feeling, that no, now I'm old, all those things. I have a list of things that makes us feel old. It makes me feel old that I cannot alter the phrase. As you know, that some other people sometimes, they have got a feeling that maybe sometimes, sometimes it's not easy like to memorize the words. You find that some other people, they easily forget the words. You find that when you cannot memorize the word, if you cannot remember the word, you feel as if now maybe you are becoming old, all those things. It happens to everybody. Just like, for example, when I was from Africa, I could speak like fluent English, but since now I have moved here in Sweden, you find that most of the time, we are like speaking Swedish. You find that sometimes some other words in English, I might lose them, not necessarily meaning that I cannot understand, or it does not mean that maybe if I lose the words, when I say that lose the words, it means that I cannot remember some other words. It does not mean that maybe I'm old, all those things. It's because of the language that you speak most of the time. You find that here in Europe, most of the countries, you mainly speak their language. You speak like these Scandinavian languages. Like in Sweden, most of the time, in order to communicate with people, you have to learn the language. Even at work, they prefer you speaking their language. So you find that if most of the time it's like you're speaking Swedish, it's not going to be easy sometimes to remember some English word. That does not mean that maybe that does not define you that you are now old. It depends on the language that you speak often. So you have to keep on training your tongue. It's just like, for example, right now, even when I speak sometimes, because when I speak, normally, I used to look at my competitor. Who are my competitor? My competitor, it's like I'm competing with, like, I look to people like in Africa. That's why you find that even when I speak, I try to speak like an African, because I know that those are the majority of the people who are going to watch my videos. So if I'm going to speak like, hello guys, welcome back to my channel, it's not all the African people who will try to understand what I say. So that's why you see that sometimes I try my level best to mold my behavior. When I explain, I try to become a little bit slow, so that the older people back home, they should try to understand that, okay, this lady, what is she trying to explain, what is she trying to define here. Some people, they might say, oh, she's in Europe, her tongue is still heavy. No, it's not about that. For me, when you are like doing business, you look at your competitor. So that's why you see that most of the time, even when I speak, I try to control my tongue, so that even when I speak, just like, for example, I can say three, because when I say three, it means that maybe they back home, they'll understand, okay, this girl, she's trying to say three. So it's not a big problem, for me. I can twist my tongue depending on which country I live. I can speak like if I go to America, it's easy for me like to adapt, to the type of English that they speak. And then when I got to Africa, it depends, you know. So that does not define me that maybe I'm becoming old, you know. It depends on you as a person, your flow, you know. So the other one that I have just written, it's so many people around me are getting engaged and pregnant, and it makes me feel so old. There are some people who have got a belief that when they see their friends or relatives getting married and having kids, they get annoyed by that, because it's like they feel as if those people, once when they have got a lot of kids, it's going to make them feel to become old, you know. They won't look younger. That's not true. It's just like in my case, I'm a mother, you know. Most of the time, sometimes when I go out with my daughter, some people used to think that maybe she's my sister, but unless I tell them that it's my daughter, you know, just because you've got a lot of kids does not make you to be like old. It depends on you as a person, how you take care of yourself, you know, what kind of food you put in your stomach, you know, in your body, you know, and what kind of exercise you do. It's just like for me, you know, I don't go to the gym most of the time, but I take control of the food that I put in my stomach, you know. And then the other thing that I have noticed is that majority of people, once when they start getting gray hair, they believe that now they're becoming old, which is not true. I remember, you know, I think maybe the time when I was like at a younger age, I think by that time I was still like a teenager, you know. I used to have like sometimes one like with this gray hair or in my head. No, not gray hair, white hair. I don't know, is it one and the something? I think it's one and the something. You know, you find that sometimes, you know, if you dye your hair, because it's like I used to like to dye my hair, you know, you find that if you use different kind of chemical, it also causes, you know, it can cause your hair, like, you know, to become white. You'll be having like in your hair sometimes you'll be having like different hair colors, all those things. That does not define you that maybe you are like old. You have to take control of the chemicals that you put in your hair. That's why you find that some people, when you look at them, it's like their hair is mainly black, but you'll find that they have got different white hair and some gray hair in their hair. Is because of the chemical that they use, you know. It's very important to take care of our hair and to know the product that we put in our hair. Just because we see some advert of product does not mean that we should be buying everything that we see. You have to read and see if the product that you are buying, you know, it goes well with your hair or with your skin. So those are my advice, and I hope that you're going to stop that mentality of saying that, oh, now I'm becoming old, all those things, you know. Don't let somebody define you. You are who you want to be. You can be who you want to be. So bye, lovelies, and see you guys in the next videos.
Bye, guys.